big capital into the league and then making it standardize it. We cannot continue to cry over spilt milk that look, we have below par players, we don't have very good pitches, we don't have good infrastructure. I mean, the coaching acumen we have in the local terrain is not the best on the continent. But who makes it the best? Whose responsibility is it to make it the best? So I think that it is high time we woke up from our slumber and did things that will turn around our fortunes. But first of all, let us spend some capital in the local league. I think that if we do this, it will be the number one solution. And first of all, to find a solution to a problem, you must first admit the presence of the problem. We go about deluding ourselves from the reality that certain problems do not exist. If you pretend about the existence of that problem, you are never going to be able to solve it. Look, we have a poor local league in Ghana here. What makes it poor? Poor infrastructure is number one. Lack of sponsorship. I mean, we have had seasons come and go without title sponsorship. That is not the best thing to do. And then we don't also have that quality in the league. And one thing that accounts for this is this, Ken. Look, every now and then we have one good, talented player, most likely a teenager, emerge in Ghana here. Then you see bloggers write about him. You see pundits speak good about him. He's sold very, very well. The hype comes in. Then the next day you see him on the next available flight to where? The Philippines. To where? India. To where?
To Asia.
Turkey is a big place to go. I mean, places that are not really football countries. You have them go to maybe Seychelles, you know what I call it? I mean, Cyprus, you understand? Malaysia, Indonesia, those countries.
I was shocked when I saw a Ghanaian in Iraq. Yeah.
Today, can you count Ghanaian players in Dr. Congo? But their league is better. So in today's terms, I think that, look, the Tanzanian league, like he has mentioned, look, is head and shoulders above Ghana's. The same is the case regarding Dr. Congo. You cannot even compete. Dr. Congo. I mean, you remember the days of Solomon Asante, formerly of Kotoko, the diminutive playmaker. All of them had to go there. Jordan Opoku and all those guys, they had to run to Dr. Congo to make big money, and big money they made. You understand? So it's about standardizing our league, making it better off, injecting money into it, building infrastructure, getting corporate sponsorship to come on board, and perhaps take some of our coaches on clinics abroad. Recently, you had the GFA do something like that. Baba Nuhu Malam was one of the coaches who went to Germany. You had one of the female coaches which we have in this country also embark on that trip. But how often does it happen? It doesn't have to be a one-day thing. You do it, and then unless after some time you can have some other coaches go on such clinical trials abroad. Look, it's about striking partnership agreements with clubs in Europe. My Martin will bear testimony to this. There are countries who strike partnership agreements. You saw Bansi's academy?
Yeah.
A Burkinabe footballer, formerly Burkinabe football legend. He has his academy. Yes. Yeah. Bansi, formerly their captain, top marksman, striker up front. He has an academy and he has a partnership deal with some German clubs.
Yep.
Only a few days ago, he took his academy. Look, the entirety of the team, he took them to Germany to engage a training tour, play some of the B teams of the German clubs. You know what that can do to his academy?
I would just want to chip in something. I think that with this guy, Kojo Asamoah, recently he also had this agreement.
Yes,
Juventus.
with Juventus. Yes.
I think there's a lot we can do.
And they're about establishing a Juventus academy in Ghana here. That is the way to go. I've always cited the example of Senegalese football. Look at how they have grown in leaps and bounds recently. Not only did their Teranga Lions win the AFCON, you had their juvenile teams under 17. They've been winning trophies. Even beach soccer, they are doing way, way better than Ghana today. What has been the secret behind this? Go check their history. In recent times, they have struck partnership deals with some clubs in France. Senegal is a French-speaking country, so having struck that partnership deal with French clubs, it affords them the opportunity to have their youngsters, their teenagers, go to France and actually grow their football brand in these academies. So they grow up with that European mentality, which is quite different from what we have in this part of the world. You understand? So it gives them that pedestal. It gives them that pedigree. They are called to the national team and they come in groups. So that telepathic understanding already exists amongst them. They come as no newcomers at all. You understand? So I think that it's time we looked at these tendencies, how we can grow our football by striking partnership agreements with some clubs across Europe. Look at what has always happened with Ukrainian football. Shakhtar Donetsk. Shakhtar Donetsk. Look, Ken, it is possible you see Shakhtar Donetsk name first 11. You have 6 or 7 Brazilians.
Yeah.
They have partnership agreements with Brazilian clubs, Corinthians, you have with them, and so many other clubs in Brazil. So the Williams you had all came through those clubs to Shakhtar Donetsk. Fernandinho, Ilsinho, and all those guys. Douglas Costa, you remember him. So I think that is the way to go. We have killed academy football in Ghana here. Where is Feyenoord? Where is Ajax? Where is Red Bull?
Where's Utrecht?
Utrecht is on its knees, if not collapsed. You understand? But the earlier we got to realize that our solution in this football business we profess to love so much lies in the academy system. That is what will grow our football and make it distinct from what everyone does. Never going to see different results. I am happy that we have 11 locally based players in the 55-man squad. How many of them will make it into the 27-man squad? Assuming 3 or 4 of them make it into the 27-man squad. How many of them will get game time in the AFCON?
Yeah.
Being called up is one thing. Getting game time is quite another. You understand? Look, let it be meritorious that players are called to the national team. Let them merit game time in the national team. It must not be the case that it is the preserve of certain players because of historical antecedents. It should never be that case. You understand? So for me, looking at the squad Ghana has called, you have some of them being old faces. And this question about Thomas Partey, Ken, look, I think that it is high time sometimes we're able to stamp our feet on the ground and then take some difficult decisions. You understand? And the inclusion of Thomas Partey is something I don't have any issue with. I don't have any problem with it. You understand? If there is one measuring rod, let it apply across board. Right? It doesn't mean there's disrespect for experienced players.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean there's disrespect for players who have been around for so long. But let there be certain principles that cut across. It must not be applicable to some youngsters who are just getting their first call up, their second call up, and all that. Let it apply across the divide. Now, there has been a hue and cry about the DIU. You know this. We must not pretend over certain realities. Look, only recently Dede found himself one club.
Yeah.
Until then, he was clubless. He was clubless. You understand? Now he found himself a club in France, only to be sent off in his debut. You saw that? Dede got sent off. He came on as a sub, right? Then he got sent off. And got sent off with his first touch. With his first touch, he got sent off. Red card. That was some wrong way to make a debut for your European club. But so I suspect that he may just be one clinical example of those who think that some players are in the team for their leadership qualities. Because look, take it from me, in terms of pure action on the field of play, I think Dede can do little to us. I think he can do little to us.
Did you watch him against Comoros?
Martin, I did.
I mean, look, to be fair, it felt like we were a man down in that game.
Yes.
Yeah.
He looked jaded. You know, there's this thing they call jet lag.
Yeah.
He looked to have been so tired, out of shape for the national team. Look,
But you know, every now and then when this argument comes up, the counter argument has been the simple question: is it the case that we are finding it difficult to move past certain players primarily because we do not have quality replacements for them?
look, I mentioned the term stubborn loyalty. There's one ill that comes with stubborn loyalty. You close the doors at potential players. You keep being loyal to certain experienced players. That robs up and coming players the opportunity to be in the national team. You understand? And so you may catch them later on, when they are off color, when they are injury plagued, when they are out of form. Then you begin to call them. When they were red hot, you never gave them the opportunity because you were still keeping faith in some experienced players. It's about, one thing that distinguishes the unique manager, the unique football manager from the great manager, is his ability to take difficult decisions, hard decisions. That's why some people find it difficult not to love Jose Mourinho. You remember what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, you must have the ball to call certain players out and ask them to be on the bench because that is where they belong. You must have the ball not to call certain established players because you want to make room for up and coming players. There must be room for experiment. You understand? Get some youngsters, bring them on board, give them the platform, give them the opportunity, and see what they can do with the ball at their feet. Failure to do this becomes a defeatist mentality. Look, you shut the door on the youngsters. You keep calling oldies, as I used to call them, and then it becomes like some culture in the national team. History is one thing, but it doesn't apply all the time. You may have your history with the national team. You've won laurels for the national team, you've scored goals for the national team, given assists for the national team, giving the national team some allure out there. But there must come a time you must just give way to certain players. And I don't say this primarily because of the DIU. It must cut across board certain players. Look, have the boss to tell them to shift aside for some time. Give the opportunity to say, Abedi Pele are you. What happened? How did he have his debut for the national team?
Yeah.
Legend has it that some experienced player, had to feign injury, just so a certain teenager, Abedi Pele, teenage sensation on the bench, was brought on to come and show glimpses of his promise. That was how he shot to prominence. If that hadn't happened, we would have had him late. So I think we must be able to take hard decisions, tough decisions, when it comes to moments of desperation. You understand? Look, it takes something like that to pave the way for certain players. Even Pele himself of Brazil, 16-year-old, called to the national team, given opportunity, go and do your job. A certain Maradona, teenager, given the opportunity, go and do your job. Look, we cannot count the number of examples abounding in the history of football about how certain youngsters were called and given opportunity at the expense of experienced players. Put on the bench. Give the youngster a chance. Let him go to do what he can do. The AFCON is beckoning in next month, February. Look, Ken, we'll go to the AFCON. We'll do our bit. I do not quite think we can win this AFCON. Look, it's about being realistic with ourselves. We don't count as favorites for this AFCON. We don't count as part of top 7 of African countries in football this time. We don't. Check the FIFA ranking or the CAF ranking. Ghana is somewhere 11th.
Yeah.
Out of the top 10. It rings a bell. And check the top 10.
When was the last time we were out of the top 10?
Seems like a distant
Yes.
future, a distant past.
Look, the problem lies in you seeing the constitution of the top 10. Check out some countries in there and try to measure them against Ghana historically and see where they will belong. So, look, I've always said that we have been lagging behind and some countries have overtaken us. It will take a lot of sacrifice for us to play catch-up. We are playing catch-up. We are playing catch-up with certain less fancied countries in Africa here. Today, according to the CAF coefficient ranking, the Ghana Premier League is out of sorts. It's out of sorts. He mentioned about Midiama and Dreams. Those are 2 Ghanaian clubs in Africa. Until now, we used to have 4 Ghanaian clubs play in the CAF Champions League, play in the CAF Confederations Cup in Africa. Today, to earn a spot in the CAF Champions League, you must win the Ghanaian Premier League. Champion, you go there. You must either win the FA Cup, the MTN FA Cup. That's it, right?
Yeah,
Dreams won it.
Confederations Cup.
That was what won them a spot in the Confederations Cup. How we fell this low has to do with our dropping of points in the CAF coefficient ranking. Number 1 in terms of the quality of the league and the performance of our Ghanaian clubs in Africa. It has been below par. We cannot continue to delude ourselves from that reality. So, to answer your question, I think that it must be meritorious to make it to the national team. 55-man squad for me was uncalled for. That was a big number. Look, reduce the pressure on yourself. Make it 30-man squad. Make it 35-man squad to lessen the burden on you, because dropping a few players will not be anything difficult for you. But you call 55-man squad. Look, there will be jostling for space in the national team. He mentioned it, the politics of it. And there will be some goings on behind the veil that you and I are not privy to. So lessen the pressure on yourself. Limit the number to 30, 35, so that you only have 5 or 7 players to send home. But 55, all of them have all the hope in the world of making it into the 27-man squad. So they'll be jostling for space in the national team. I think that Chris Hilton should have done himself a favor, and his backroom staff, Didi Dramani, and then the other guy, what's his name?
George
George
Boateng.
Boateng.
George Boateng. They should have done themselves a big favor by not casting the net that wide. You understand? But this thing about going to the AFCON, let's not make up our minds that, look, failure to win the AFCON, they are sacking the manager.
Okay. All right.
We are not at a good place. Let me land on this. You saw the GFA hierarchy pay a courtesy call on the president at the presidency.
Yeah.
And the president said, and I quote, "I don't understand why we are not performing. We have a lot of talent." President Akufo-Addo said that. "I don't understand why we are not performing. We have a lot of talent." And he charged the Black Stars to win the next AFCON. That is the president. He may not know the intricacies of our national team and our chances against other African countries. You understand? But I tell you with no equivocation that we cannot win the next AFCON. If it happens against all odds, it will be a pleasant surprise for me.
Okay. All right. Let me come to Uncle T. And Rosso is of the opinion that, look, we stand no chance when we go to the AFCON. But the head coach, the man who calls the shots, granted an interview and says, look, Ghana has to be amongst the favorites to win it. Do we stand a realistic chance of winning the AFCON, or we are merely favorites based on paper?
You know, Ken, I've said it in times past that for us to win the AFCON, it will take another, let's say, close to 20 years or so before we can think of. Yes, because
it's too much.
Because no, I don't think
two
it's
more
too much.
decades.
No, I don't think it's too much. Yes.
Let him justify it.
Reason why I don't think it's too much is that you look at where we came from, where we are now, and then you ask yourself, and the last time we won was what, in 1982.
Yeah.
So what is the difference between football then and football now in Ghana?
There's a lot. A lot
What
has
was
changed
what's the
down the
improvement?
years.
Tell me what kind of improvement we've had. Because when you look at even our infrastructure, I don't see so much improvement in terms of infrastructure. I don't see so much improvement in terms of policies, how to govern our football, how to nurture talents, improvement in the local league and all of that. I don't see any improvement. I actually see us regressing. Honestly, because when you look at maybe in the 1980s, the 1990s, the early 2000s, we used to go to CAF confederations, CAF Champions League, win the trophies, compete at very high levels. But now we don't. It tells us that we are not moving forward. And those were the things we were doing that actually made us go to the AFCON and perform better. But we are not getting quality. And there's a lot of political influence in our football. Now, I want to stop at that end and then come to the fact that we need a foreign media house to engage on issues relating to our squad. I don't get it. Honestly, I don't understand it. Is it that we don't have local media here that can do that?
Well,
or
maybe-
is it that the GFA is not giving them that opportunity?
Well, primarily he spends a lot of time outside the shores of this country that he does.
We are in the technological age.
Yeah.
You can be anywhere and you still grant interviews.
There's
Right?
Zoom,
Yeah.
Exactly.
Telegram,
So you can't.
Facebook.
That one cannot be an excuse. I was rather sad to see that a foreign media house would interview our coach with regards to issues relating to AFCON and then the squad and all of that. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't. So if I'm in Ghana and I want to know what is going on with our coach and our Black Stars and the call-ups he has made, I need to look for Talk Sports in Ghana. Come on, it doesn't make any sense. And you look at it all, the GFA actually magnified it by tweeting about it on their social media handles that a foreign media house is going to interview our coach in relations to our AFCON and our squad.
But Uncle T, can we be fair to Chris Hughton and the FA? At the time of the release of the squad, where was he?
I don't understand.
He was not in the country when the squad was released.
We are coming back to the same thing.
Yes, I understand, and I appreciate the fact that a lot could have happened based on IT to get him to speak to the
Yes.
media house. But have we tried following up since the Talk Sports interview to get him to speak directly to the Ghanaian public as well?
I don't think that it is actually even the media in Ghana that's supposed to approach the GFA to let them interview the coach. No, the GFA is responsible to the Ghanaian people, isn't it? They need to make the information readily available to us as Ghanaians. As a Ghanaian, I don't need to tune into a foreign based media house to listen to what is going on in my own country, especially when it has to do with sports. Right now,
But Martin, you watch your Ghana Premier League on a Chinese
Good.
TV company.
you see,
I was coming to that.
exactly now that is different. This is club football. This is club football.
It's the same Ghana football.
Listen, this is club football, right? You can have a Chinese person playing in the Ghana Premier League, and there's no problem. You can't have a Chinese person, Chinese national, playing in for the Black Stars,
Okay.
right? The Black Stars belongs to the Ghanaian people.
It's not possible.
Football belongs to all of us, right? But the national teams belongs to the nation, right?
Chinese could actually play for Ghana.
I'm not saying that.
You had Fabio
the
Gama,
person-
example.
when the
You
person-
had Fabio Gama in
it
Ghana,
will
right?
only happen
Yeah.
if the person naturalizes, isn't it?
Yes.
And I'm saying that in this situation, it's not about naturalizing. We are talking about the Ghana Black Stars, the property of the people of Ghana. So if you are a Chinese person and then you naturalize for Ghana, you become a Ghanaian person, isn't it? So it doesn't matter. But I'm saying that things that has to do with the Ghanaian people should be represented by people in Ghana. That is my point. I don't think that we should give the opportunity to foreigners to be doing something that has to do with our nation. That is my point. I'm not saying that it cannot be. If we had something like that already in Ghana and Talk Sports also does it later on, I don't have a problem with that. But if it is exclusive to Talk Sports, that's where I have a problem. Because I think that we can also do better. In fact, when we are given the opportunity, I think that we can do more. Right? Now, moving away from that, the squad. I want to disagree a little bit with Rozo when it comes to the 55-man squad. I also think that it is too much. But you know, this time they said they are going to take 27, right? Instead of 23. Okay. Now,
It's optional.
Yeah.
Optional.
yes.
for-
Yes. Now, I am reasoning with them or the GFA or the coaches in the sense that we've had a lot of Ghanaian players in recent times nursing injuries. So many of them. Kudus, Thomas Partey, the Bournemouth guy, what's his name?
Semenyo.
Semenyo, Bukari, a lot of them they are nursing injuries. So you see, when you limit the squad to, let's say, maybe 30 or maybe let's say 35, and your intention is to go with 28, who knows? There's still a lot of football to play before the AFCON. It is possible that you might just get some number of injuries and then your whole squad or your whole call-up is another thing, right? Maybe they felt like getting so many people or like widening the scope so that in the case that anything goes wrong, they
There's
can
still a
have-
large pool to pick and choose from.
that is
Okay.
where that's the angle I'm looking at it.
Okay.
But I think that it shouldn't have been maybe 55, probably 40 would have been okay. But 55, I'm sure they have reasons why they've gone there, and I'm thinking that this is the reason why they have gone that way. Yeah.
All right. Okay. Salim, you have the final take on this one. And one other issue that has come up had to do with where the team will be camping ahead of the tournament. Prior to, I think until this morning when the news broke that the team will indeed be camping in South Africa. So 6 hours by flight from South Africa to La Côte d'Ivoire. What do you make of that decision first and foremost? Because we are neighbors to La Côte d'Ivoire. Would it not make sense to have us camp in our own country and have, less travel hours to the AFCON proper than to go to South Africa with a different climate altogether, different weather and different conditions altogether? What do you make of that decision to go camp in South Africa? And what impacts would it have on the team's overall performance when the tournament kicks off proper?
Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you for the opportunity. Honestly, when I heard about the fact that the Black Star will be traveling out of Ghana all the way to South Africa to camp, and then travel from South Africa to Cote d'Ivoire, honestly, from where I sit, out of it. Reason being that our weather condition is one, expenditure is two. I think we are coming to the subject of the GFA's budget expended at the World Cup.
From your World Cup, yeah.
When you look at the items they provided to and presented to the Parliament, what came into consideration that they made their budget of 8 million plus and they spent about 5 million. They talked about flight arrangements, hospitality, equipment, and so on. So I want to limit it to flight arrangements and then hospitality. South Africa are more or less Europeans. South Africa is a very serious business city. You compare their 5-star hotel to a 5-star hotel in Ghana. Probably they might be or they may be of the same standard, but it will be more expensive there than Ghana. Same way, if you consider their hospitality as against Cote d'Ivoire, if you do some background checks, you'll get to see that if we camp in what they call Cote d'Ivoire or any neighboring country where we think like all the necessary things we need to do our camping, our training, and whatever is available, I think it is much better than we going to South Africa. Now we are trying to convince Ghanaians that the money government expends or the Ministry of Youth and Sports expend into the GFA is something that should continue. They should continue to spend, but we are not convincing Ghanaians that pretty soon we'll go to the AFCON and make them happy. It's not about bringing the trophy, but at least if Black Stars should go to this AFCON, come back to Ghana as first runner-up or second runner-up, I believe and I'm convinced that brings back the love thing we are echoing day in, day out. It will start coming. That's where I stand. But sometimes what we do in one way or the other convinces people to accept what we are doing or make people to stay away or distance themselves from whatever we are talking about. GFA and Kwesi Nyantakyi was criticized so much about camping outside Ghana and so on and so forth. He, Kete Kureku, before being elected or and sworn in as the FA president, made certain promises that he's going to cut down or is going to review this issue about camping and the Black Stars, wherever the Black Stars is doing. But it's still doing the same way. Because traveling out of Ghana, if even you are talking about security or privacy, there are places in Ghana that the Black Star can camp. Unless, of course, an individual is given a red permit or a green permit. Let me put that. Let me use the green permit, like the Europeans do, green card.
Green card.
If someone is not given a green card or a green permit, that person cannot get there. We have places in Ghana that those camping can be done, and to cut costs at a very high level. So I think if they can, though time is a bit closer to what they call the AFCON, but I think they can still do something. I'm sure if you do some kind of a
street poll,
8 or 9 out of 10 people that you interview will tell you that they are not in support of the South African camp. They rather prefer Ghana camping, Black Star camping in Ghana or camping in La Cote d'Ivoire, just to make things very easy and accessible for them to prepare very well. But I want to go back a little to what Rosso and then Uncle T said. You know, I was looking at the numbers, 55 shortlisted. Now you are going to cut down the number to 27, right?
Yeah.
So half plus 1 are going out. That's 28. 28 are going out of the 55. I will side with Rosso because I see that 28 to be too much. If you are picking 40 and cutting down, taking away 13, I think it makes sense. Reason being that Uncle T made mention of some players nursing injuries, and there are still other competitions ongoing in the various leagues. We can't predict how safe the players can be, but at least within the 13 that will be called, will be taken out. If in case there's any kind of incident or accident that happens that a player cannot fit in, that 13 can be a place that we can look into and pick a player to replace. But if you go to pick 55 players, like, it's a big pressure. Angati made mention of something like did you say 19 untouchables?
I said
19
Rosa said 19 untouchables.
yes, undroppables.
We do not know who and who constitute the 19 though.
Okay, fine.
But they are usual suspects. They are usual suspects.
So, usual suspects, Angati says Payola members. So fine. You look at the 27 squad, 19 out of the 27, you are getting 8. So if indeed, be as it may, the 19 are really going to be those, are you going to be what do you call gazetted members of the team or the Black Star squad
Yes.
to Cote d'Ivoire?
Yes.
Where are we getting the other 8? Is it our local base players?
Out of the rest.
Out of the rest?
Yes.
Just 8. It doesn't make sense. So I think the Chris Hilton and his team, and it was unfortunate when I saw it that Didi, Dramani and Co were there. They also sanctioned that number. But from where I sit, I don't know what they are looking at, what they are foreseeing that we here we are not seeing. But I think even I heard this man Ashutamakulu on Asasi Radio. On weekend they have a sports program. All the panel, the guests he brought into the studio were not in support of the 55-man squad. Sometimes it increases your budget, it increases your expenditure. But if you make a budget, definitely those 55 players, you are going to feed them, you are going to house them, transport them.
Yeah.
You take care of them, that's a medical way and other things. So it expands the budget. Something that you could have maybe just make it limited such that you can account to Ghanaians, you can account to the FA that this is what we have done, this is the leftover. So that we're convincing people sitting outside will feel like, oh, Black Star have done well. They've saved the country a lot of money. But all in all, we sitting here, me sitting here, let me say, I feel like the Black Star cannot be a team that we can put our hopes on. That is one. Two, I feel like we are underdogs. And three, I'm hoping and praying that at the end of the tournament,
There'll be an underdog story.
it will be an underdog story, and Black Star will make Ghanaians proud, at least. If not bringing the trophy back home, second runner-up, third runner-up, or place fourth. That's what I'm hoping and praying for, so that Roso and I here, the next time after the AFCON we are coming here, we can be in our Black Star jerseys and come here.
Okay, yeah, Roso, you wrap up for
Yes, Ken, I think that there's normally latitude for countries or teams to make replacements of injured players. Even in the build-up to a tournament, in the build-up to a competition, once you have some injury concerns, that doctors actually conclude that these players cannot be able to take part in the upcoming tournament, you are capable of replacing them by fetching players even outside the pool. We have had instances even in the past when countries have called players from home to join teams in tournaments. I think you guys remember that. Now, the thing about pitching camp in where? South Africa.
South Africa.
Yeah.
Well, normally, when you're going for tournaments, you pitch camp where you think you can better acclimatize countries that have similar or same weather conditions with the country hosting the tournament. Ivory Coast, South Africa. We are playing the AFCON in Ivory Coast.
Ivory Coast.
We choose to go to South Africa
Africa.
for pre-tournament camping. What for? I understand we are playing a pre-tournament friendly against Botswana,
Yeah.
which is also a Southern African country. But why go to Southern Africa when the tournament is happening in West Africa?
West Africa.
For me, the best place in the world for us to have camped would have been Secondary Takoradi,
Yeah, because
Western region.
In fact,
Yeah.
I was even thinking of
Secondary Takoradi. Go there, camp
I
the
was,
team there.
I was even thinking of Soga Kope, Wafa.
But you know why we can't camp in Secondary Takoradi?
Mhm.
the Esipon Stadium is in shambles.
Yeah, I was thinking
The team
I was
can't
thinking
even
of-
find.
yes.
Aluma
It-
Sports
the- the-
it
the-
seems
Exactly.
to be much better
So
than
that was
this
why I was
team.
thinking of Soga Kope for the Wafa. You know, they have
It's a good
all of them.
facility. It's a good
Exactly.
facility
And
for the
aside
team to
that,
have
you know,
camped.
it's not far from Ivory
The-
Coast,
the
Yes.
border,
right?
yeah.
So you can even play clubs like Aztec Mimosa from Ivory Coast.
If,
you understand?
if you must fly to Ivory Coast, you can leave what's it called? Secondary Accra. Come back to Accra and then fly. You understand?
Very
but
easy.
but to go to South Africa, that's a long
6 hours.
distance travel from West Africa. Then you come back to West Africa to play the AFCON. You remember the last AFCON in Cameroon? Where did we camp? Tell me Dubai. Thereabout.
Yeah,
You
Dubai.
understand? Tournament in Africa, in Cameroon,
We are camping outside
which
the
is
continent.
which is in a different, aspect of Africa. We are West Africa. They are somewhere Central Africa. So go around that place and then camp for some acclimatization and all that. But we went to where? Dubai.
Dubai.
Came back.
out of
should
the
this
continent.
Should this bring back the conversation about the state of the Ghanaman Soccer Center of Excellence?
We don't have it.
Because that ideally should have been the first point of call whenever national teams are in town in terms of camping.
I told you what the English are doing.
Okay.
You remember?
St. George's, yeah.
St. George's. St. George's is a vast land. It's a vast land. I don't know if I am exaggerating or not. Maybe equal to the land size of Lamashegu. Maybe. Comprising so many pitches, numerous pitches. Look,
Is it
Ken,
Ghana,
no, in England,
No, St.
they have
George's.
a facility they call St. George's. That is where all national teams, and even on record, every national team in England, men's national team, women's national team, amputee team, special disciplines, the special sports,
Yeah.
all of them can camp in that facility at the same time. At the same time.
Without interference.
At the same time, and not jostle for facility, for infrastructure. Everyone has where to train. Indeed, there are some other international
I think
teams come there to camp.
Morocco has similar one.
Go there to camp. You understand? So I think that we must look outside the box. We must think outside the box and then find ourselves a facility worth its purpose. If not, look, the disgrace. It's a disgrace. We don't have.
Yes.
We don't have a national sports center. Ghana Pram is not in good shape.
Yeah.
We go there quite often. It's not in good shape. National teams go there quite often, but it's not in good shape. It cannot accommodate 3 national teams, 4 national teams.
There's something I'm going to talk about later.
What is happening?
And this
in Ghana
particular
football?
thing will pain you more when I talk about that thing. It will pain you more.
Okay, go for it.
Okay, so we'll have to leave the AFCON squad here and talk about other things as well. So you're still listening to the build up on Radio Tamale 91.7 FM. We are on from now through to 10 p.m. You can share your thoughts, contributions, and whatnot with us. 020-0060-766, 020-0060-766. I have a full house tonight. Salim is here with us, Rosaneris and Uncle T as well. So let's switch focus and talk about one other thing that has caught the attention of many. How the World Cup money has been expended by the GFA. So in a recent disclosure, Henry Asante Chum, who is the communications director of the Ghana Football Association, revealed that Ghana's prize money from the 2022 World Cup decreased from $9 million to $7.9 million due to an outstanding debt of over $800,000 owed to FIFA. Now, the debt encompasses various expenses, including the flight and accommodation cost of officials, as well as the participation of Ghana's under-17 and under-20 women's national teams in FIFA tournaments. Additionally, fees for cautions were part of the outstanding amount. Now, confirming a Joy Sports publication, Mr. Asante Chum acknowledged that the GFA reported $7.9 million to the Ministry of Youth and Sports and its members, contrary to the initially widely publicized $9 million. The communications director, during an interview with Asempa FM, elaborated on the matter. He cited a letter dated June 14, 2023, stating that the GFA was entitled to $9 million for its placement between 17th and 23rd in the FIFA World Cup in Qatar, subject to the deduction of outstanding debts. Now, Asante Chum again highlighted that FIFA had credited the association with $25,000, which was owed since 2018, adding it to Ghana's World Cup prize money for the 2022 tournament. Now, the outstanding debts of $800,131.32 accumulated from 2016 to 2022 World Cup were deducted by FIFA. So these deductions covered various expenses including cautions, flights, accommodation and charges. After deducting these amounts, the net balance, as clarified by the communications director at the FA, stands at 7.899,869.77 currently held in the association's bank account. He also mentioned a $300,000 loan taken from the bank to pay the 3 Black Star coaches, emphasizing that this was in line with their contract for qualifying Ghana to the World Cup against Nigeria. However, he did not specify whether FIFA deducted the loan taken to pay the coaches or if the GFA handled it separately. As a final note, Asante Chuma assured the GFA would publish detailed information on these financial transactions. So let's move away from the squad and talk about this particular subject. So just a quick reminder, we are streaming live on Facebook at Radio Tamale 91.7 FM. So you can head over to our Facebook handle, that is facebook.com/Radio Tamale 91.7 FM, and catch us live on the show tonight. Let me start with Uncle T on this one. Now, we've complained time and again that we go to World Cups every now and then. We get prize money for participation in the competition. We come back home. There is nothing by way of tangible to show that from our exploits at the World Cup, this is what we have as a nation to show for it. This is the latest one. $9 million is what we were told was prize money for Ghana. Now we are being told in actual sense it is 7.9, and some $800,000 had to be taken by FIFA because the FA owes it to FIFA as debt. What do you make of this, and what image does it really paint about Ghana football and where we are? Does it show a gross level of incompetence in managing our football and our finances?
Ken, we are just in trouble. You see, when we talk about the rot in Ghana football, it's not just about what is happening within, but also outside. Because this picture we are painting clearly is a very bad picture for the image of Ghana football. You know, all of these we are getting now is as a result of a journalist actually taking it on, Muftau Nabila. You know, he started all of these.
Yeah.
And yes, Joy Sports. Muftau Nabila started all of these. And do you know that he had to exercise RTI to be able to get this information?
Yeah.
Yes. He had to exercise it.
He went to the extreme to write to FIFA as well.
Yes.
FIFA replied him.
Yeah.
Yes. You know, it is. He wrote to FIFA first, and FIFA asked him to get the information from the GFA. They provided him with the information they could provide him with, and then asked him to for specifics.
Okay.
And then they asked him to go to the FA. They would give him those like specifics that he wants. So I think when he tried at first, he wasn't getting, so he had to activate he had to use the RTI to be able to get all of the information we are getting now. Now you see, you went to the World Cup, or we've gone to the World Cup. We are given 9 million. In fact, when you look at the statement FIFA released, FIFA said that we were entitled to 9 million. They credited Ghana 9 million. According to FIFA,
just add dollars.
Dollars, exactly. They credited Ghana's accounts $9 million. They didn't say $7.9 million. They said $9 million. Now, Muftau Nabila now wanted to find out how come the GFA are telling us that it is 7.9 million they received from FIFA. So that is when FIFA told him to go to the FA for the information. And that is when he exercised the RTI, and then they gave him whatever information they could give him. Look, when the communications director of the FA tells us that we are paying a loan of $300,000.
Yeah. Money owed to the 3 coaches.
Yes.
For qualifying us to the World Cup.
Yes. Because there are contracts or there are clauses in the contracts of the three coaches that says that should we qualify to go and play in the World Cup, we need to pay them some amount of money.
That was in the build-up to the double header against
Against
Nigeria.
Nigeria.
Yes, exactly. So
But this money, we are told, was a bank loan.
Yes.
Because they went to the sports
Yes.
ministry, and the ministry said at the time they did not
They
have
don't
the
have
money
so
to pay, so they had to go in for a bank loan.
Yes.
Okay.
according to the same Henry, he says that that money we loaned it or we borrowed it from FIFA,
But not from the bank.
but not from the bank.
Okay.
Yes, he said we borrowed it from FIFA, and so FIFA had to deduct that 300,000 and also 800,000 as a result of accommodation, flights, and accumulation of cards. And there, Muftau further contacted other member associations trying to find out about the issues of the card. First it was the issue of accumulation of cards that came first. That we are paying for accumulation of cards for $800,000. That was the first information that came out. We didn't hear anything about accommodation and flights. It wasn't part. It was just about cards amounting to 800,000.
How ridiculous is the
Yes.
situation that we are paying such crazy amounts
Exactly.
of caution?
So when he contacted other member associations, they said they didn't have anything like that in their financial books for paying any amount for accumulation
Cautions.
of cards
Okay.
and all of that. So that was when we started hearing issues of accommodation and flight arrangements and blah blah. Yes.
Then
yes.
the participation of the under 17 and under
Yes.
20 women.
Then it brings me back to the point that so the 5 point what million we spent, 5 point something million dollars we spent at the World Cup. Those monies, what were they used for? Is it for? Is it for? That's what I'm asking. If in the 800,000, yes. So that one too. So we paid double or what? Or that one was for ways and means.
No. Those ones were for what? For what is it called? The traveling party, management committee, winning bonuses and the like. I'm just second guessing.
I want to believe the FA in the sense that this is the World Cup you have gone to, and you've gone to the World Cup with a large number of contingents. We have ministers, MPs, party, whatever.
The coaches as well.
Yes, coaches. Look at the technical bench. So many people going on the ticket of
The
government.
Black Stars.
So I can understand why they'll be spending that huge sums of money with regards to the 5 point whatever million dollars. But Ken, what is very alarming is when we were going to the World Cup, we had sponsorship from MTN, $2 million. In all of this we are talking about, that money has not been mentioned.
I mean, not just MTN, but the entire corporate.
No,
board.
I'm actually emphasizing on MTN because it's MTN has paid.
the
They have
2
given
million.
us our $2 million.
Okay.
So where is the $2 million? No one is talking about it. So the $800,000 or the $300,000 you took from FIFA, you said from FIFA, can't the $2 million pay?
I've said that. Yeah.
And aside that, before the World Cup, haven't we received money from FIFA? Why
As
haven't?
preparation.
Yes. Why didn't they deduct those monies?
FIFA.
Yeah.
But that one is a dole-out.
I'm
yes.
saying something.
Just to
I'm
help
not
you,
talking.
yeah.
I'm not talking about the qualifications. I'm not just talking about the qualifications.
Okay.
Even before that, we have received money from FIFA, haven't
Okay.
we?
The 6 million every 4
Yes,
years.
yes, we have.
Okay.
So why haven't they deducted their money? These are all questions that we. I don't know whatever it is.
arrangements are.
Yes, but I am just worried that it is this particular money that FIFA has earmarked to take their money or to pick the loan we took from them when we have received monies previously. You understand my point? I just need answers to those. I think these are genuine questions that we should be asking, right? No, so that 2 million, where has it gone to? What did we use it for? You understand? Now, the sports minister, you read a particular place about the dates. The dates.
Yes, June 14.
Please read that statement.
Okay, so the communications director, during an interview on Asempa FM, elaborated on the matter. He cited a letter dated June 14, 2023, stating that the GFA was entitled to $9 million for its placement between 17th and 32nd in the FIFA World Cup in Qatar, subject to the deduction of outstanding debts.
9 million.
Yeah.
That was letter cited on what?
June 14,
June 14.
2023.
When the Parliamentary Select Committee on Sports, when they questioned the minister on the issue of the money and the loan and all of that, you know what he said? He said he'll meet with the FA and then he'll find out more details.
After having received a letter?
Yes. He said he'll find out more details. So is the minister trying to tell us that he didn't have details before just
appearing before the committee?
But this letter is telling us on the 14th of what?
June.
I don't know whether you guys are getting the point.
We're on point.
Yes. So this whole thing is so bizarre. It's not painting a good picture for us. There's something fishy somewhere, because we are deliberately accounting for some portions of the money and leaving out some. Don't forget that all of those sponsorship packages that came are part of the money that enters into the GFA's coffers, and it all must be accounted for, right? So why do you account for some of these things and leave out some of these things? Now, when Rozo was the last statement he was making in with respect to
camping and the Ghana Man Soccer Center. Yeah.
Yes. Do you know that the Ghana Football Association has about $10.5 million sitting FIFA for us to for us to maybe, let's say, bring up a project or a program, and then they'll sponsor us. Just part of the forward. Yes, just part exactly for what exactly we discussed it before. Now we have been able to access only 2.1 million of that money. Of that $10.5 million, we have been able to access only 2.1, including the boreholes. We have done 6. Ghana has done 6 projects. You can Google it. 6 projects that has been approved by FIFA. That 6 project includes the boreholes. And now, do you know that these boreholes, that deal is, I don't even understand what it has become, because I'm now hearing that it will be given to private entities to try and then complete some of them and blah blah. You get it? So if we have such an amount sitting somewhere, and all we need to do is actually put up a very nice proposal, put up very nice policies that will just allow them to give us our money, or give us that money to invest in our sports, is also a problem. Do you know that out of the 53 right, member nations, CAF, 54, out of the 54, 47 have done better than the Ghana Football Association in terms of accessing their monies from FIFA. 47 of them have done. So that means we are the 48 out of the 53 countries. 8 countries have been able to access 100% of their money. The likes of Morocco, and you can see it. We have been able to access just, I don't even know whether it's up to. Yes. And even Nigeria recently, I saw them. They saw a mini stadium or so from the
putting up something here.
Yes, but what are we doing? What are we doing? We cannot account for monies that and you see, I am not surprised that we have not been able to access all of those monies, because probably we cannot justify a reason why they should give us the money, isn't it? If you can, they'll only give you the money if you're able to justify that you would use the money and do what exactly. Because I want to believe that their FIFA is taking a cue from what has happened previously. We've taken money for FIFA Forward. We said stationery for clubs. We bought desktops, and right now those desktops,
so it's a beneficiary.
Those desktops.
I mean, the
those
program,
desktops.
The program never.
Everything. Look, desktops, scanners, printers,
Turbonets.
turbonets,
Mhm.
they are all in the rooms of people. Yes. Some people don't even know how to use them. I'm sure others are even spoiled. So, for a project like this, you go again for another project, boreholes. It's not also materializing. You think FIFA will give you another money? You see, we play too much. We play too much, and all of these is as a result of the poor leadership we have in this country. And you see, it cuts across. It's not just only in sport, but because we are sports people, we want to concentrate on sports. But it becomes difficult to blame the sports people so much because they also have external influences coming to affect their work. So all of these things are in a shamble. Look, the Ghana Football Association right now, we need serious cleansing. That World Cup money, I know if we are going to follow it, if they are going to follow to arrest some people. Yes, they will definitely arrest some people. Because, no, Rosa, honestly, explain to me why you can account for some, or even you give an excuse when they ask you to give more details. You add other excuses to it, or you add expenditure to it, and you are now telling us that at the right time you come out with. By now, we should have that information. We don't need to, they don't need to chase you for you to now come out and tell us that you are going to prepare and then give us.
It's been over a year now.
Yes.
Yeah.
By now we should have it. We should know what our World Cup money has been used for. But up until now, nothing. It took someone, a journalist, to probe before all of these has started coming out, and then now there's going to be an issue of us. They're now going to prepare, I think, something like a report. Come on. In a serious country, you will not see this. I want to believe that in other countries by now, they know what they have used their monies for. Their World Cup monies, they know what they have used it for. But for us, since 2006, even 2014, hey, Charlie, we are in trouble. Oh.
I'm not sure if you want a detailed, what do you call it? Report on even the 2006 World Cup that we went.
2006, you've gone far.
No, even that one is far. That's why I've gone there.
Okay.
As we speak, if we need a detailed,
oh no, you cannot.
You cannot get it.
No, you can't. You can't get it.
Meanwhile, these things should have been there, archived somewhere.
Yes.
Said that in modern day like today, people can refer to it.
Yes.
To make certain corrections or adjustments or whatever.
Yes.
But you can't get it.
Yes. So, because you see, the reason why I'm talking about all of these things are that, since Kurt took over, but let's just take from 2019 to 2022, are we saying that we have not received any money from FIFA apart from the World Cup money?
Oh no, that
Yes.
cannot be true.
Cannot be the case.
Yeah.
Exactly. So why is it that particular loan they are talking of wasn't deducted, and it's taking our World Cup money for them to deduct that particular
But in
loan?
any case, if FIFA was bent on taking what is owed them by the Ghana Football Association from the World Cup money, could it not have been done before the payment was made?
Yeah.
So we all have this fair understanding that, look, you are entitled 9 million,
Yeah.
but because of A, B, C, D, you are getting 7.9 from the get-go.
Because FIFA said they have credited the account with 9 million.
And I think if even FIFA had taken the money out officially,
Yes.
FIFA would have made it known.
Yeah.
To Nabila.
To
You
Nabila.
get the point. And the 25,000, is it 250,000 we spoke about? Was it 25?
300,000
No,
for the
20
coaches.
no.
$25,000.
FIFA gave another $25,000 for something.
There was
like that.
some. Okay, so FIFA credited the association with $25,000, which was owed since 2018.
Which was owed us.
Yes, since 2018.
So how about that one too? That money. So are we trying to say that those all of you see the thing is so messy.
2018.
2018.
Yeah.
Then
Since
that
2018.
probably predates the Kurt era.
Mhm.
That would have been the normalization.
Yeah. Normalization committee.
Yes,
So it's fair to state this.
Yes, exactly. So you can imagine all of these monies coming in 2019. From 2019 to 2022, only the FIFA forward we have received close to 6 million, right? $6 million. So what
In installments.
in installments? I just can't understand why they choose to deduct the money from our World Cup. That's my problem. I just can't understand why.
Because we have 2 million we've taken from MTN
Yes.
as sponsorship. So
Yes.
why can't we use that 2 million
To pay the
to pay
coaches,
and other outstanding
yes,
issues
Why can't
and make way for the 9 million from FIFA for whatever reasons it's
and
supposed
you
to be
see,
used
even
for?
even that 2 million, I've mentioned that 2 million because that is what is should I say that is what is big.
Yeah, and even it is confirmed that
Yes.
it has been
They have
paid
been
out.
paid. Aside the 2 million, we have had other sponsorships. GMPC has come in. A
Other
whole lot
corporate
of-
bodies.
Yes, other there was even a fund that was established for corporate entities to donate.
I think we had a target.
GMPC and Co were dole-outs,
Okay.
grants,
Okay.
grants gifted to the Ghana Black
But
Stars, to the
Rosso,
GFA.
but Rosso,
But
can't
do you know that
grants be
even
accounted for?
that's a different thing. I'm just straight. Putting the record straight. Even at some point in time, the GFA had to run to central government for money,
Yeah,
promising to pay back.
Yeah.
That has been cleared as well.
yeah.
But this thing about well, you're still on the floor. I'll come as well.
So you see, my issue in all of this, you see the 2 million GMPC grants, whatever other, so all of those things have definitely catered for some, like some of the.
So there must be accountability.
You
yes.
understand? In terms of our accommodation, our flights, I'm very certain that these monies put together would have done a lot.
Because with this latest twist, it suggests that we went to the World Cup empty-handed,
Yeah.
which is not the case.
Which is not the
we
case.
did not go to the World Cup
We didn't go
empty-handed.
empty-handed.
We certainly had something,
Yes.
even
I
before
think-
that of FIFA.
I think
came.
yesterday was 21st, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
I think the sports minister was in Parliament briefing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what we're just
the All
talking
African
about.
Games as well.
For the preparatory money that came from FIFA, preparation money, okay. Before the money delayed in coming, so the FA had to go to government, promising to pay once the FIFA money
Yeah.
came. You understand? And that was what they actually fetched to give. But if
You know, government out of the 7.9, government took 5.1, right? Was it 5.4
from that money,
from that money that FIFA credited?
Mm.
You know, FIFA has told us that they credited us 9 million, and we said we have received 7.9 million, right? So out of the 7.9 million, government has taken 5.4 million, okay, for the cost they have incurred and sponsoring the Black
Okay.
Stars and all of those things. You get what I mean? So it means that all of those things have been cleared. But the main issue is, so before we went, all of the monies we've had, the 2 million, the grants, what have you, what did those monies do?
But to start with, were we told the exact amount we had from all of those donations?
We weren't.
Okay, so it's difficult now.
Exactly.
That one has
It's
not been
difficult now to
officially
raise that
communicated.
question because there is nothing for us to stand on to say, okay, we had X amount from this. Then we can juxtapose it to how much we spent,
and how much is left.
how much we've arrived, why we have
And
arrived
see,
at
that
this
is- that is-
position.
That is why it is surprising that the FA had to wait for a journalist to go to FIFA, and then later on had to exercise the RTI for them to now come out, and then these ones are even just words, which have been changing. This first
From
it
time
is-
to
it-
time.
Yes, first it is accumulation of cards. Now they are now adding accommodation and flight to it and all of that, and are now telling us that they are going to prepare a report and then tell us what the monies were used for. I don't think we should have gotten to this. Right now, we should have
When
had-
did the World Cup end? It's not last year, December.
It's almost a
December,
year.
Yeah,
December
so-
18.
So
It's over a year.
Yeah.
a
Over
year and some number of
3
days.
or 4
Yes.
days, yeah.
3 or 4 days.
Yes.
So I think the GFA are not being fair to Ghanaians.
So even meaning that they don't even have the report. It's now they want
The GFA are
want
not being
put
fair to
something-
Ghanaians because
they
if it
want
is
to
a
put
year,
figures.
a year now, and you
12
can't give
months.
an accurate report
Yeah.
on your expenditure alone to the good people of Ghana, whom you are always crying out to support the Black Stars and whatever you are doing
to bring back the
to
love.
bring back the laugh. If
Yeah.
you can't make me happy, if you can't make me convinced about your expenditure, today is this, tomorrow is that. Like we are saying, I really need some clarity, because when the sports minister was speaking in Parliament, he made mention of a budget. I don't know whether the budget he mentioned was out of the 9 million FIFA gave, or is government that
exactly,
or is the ministry that has given out the money, or where is it coming from?
and you see, there's something we should know that is going to affect. It's going to affect us, or it's going to affect the clubs in Ghana when they want to sort for sponsorship, because
Sure.
these are corporate entities that have donated something to the cause of the
Well,
match.
if they don't see results in
Right?
whatever they have
No
donated,
accountability. Now you expect a club, RTU, Tamale City, Dreams FC, to go to, let's say, GMPC and say that we want money to do A, B, C, D, E. It's football related.
Yeah.
Now they would want to. Okay, the last time we did something with regards to football, what has come out of it?
With
We don't
the
even know what
umbrella
our
body
monies
itself.
were. Yes.
Yeah.
We don't even know what our monies were used for. So it's not positive. Internally, externally, it's not positive.
Right.
And I think that we need to take a look at it.
Okay.
A critical look at it.
Sure. Rozo, Uncle T has spoken at length, but while he was speaking, one thing that kept coming to mind was this is an association that has a whole communication secretariat, and after 12 months we've had next to nothing. This latest one, obviously we are getting to that point where the damage could potentially be irreparable. What more does the FA need to do going forward to ensure that they render, better account to the good people of Ghana, and how do we go past these issues of constantly running into debt?
Well, I think that it probably is time for the FA to embark on some image redemption exercise, and quick. They cannot have a laid-back attitude regarding this issue. Look, I think that football in the world is governed by FIFA, okay, as the umbrella body, and FIFA, as a responsible governing body, lives up to its responsibility of giving some assistance to member countries preparing for tournaments in the World Cup. What we are looking at is even a macro part of it. Let's go micro. Ghana has been to 4 World Cups: 2006 in Germany, 2010 in South Africa, 2014 in Brazil, 2022 in Qatar. Cumulatively, Ghana got in excess of $34 million. In excess of $34 million. Just ask yourself one basic question: to what end? This amount of money, to what end? Just imagine for a second what that amount of money could have done for Ghana football, and then look at what has happened in reality. Then you match the two and see if they cancel out. So
Not
many
at all.
questions than answers. So many questions than answers. Look, I think that there's more to this than meets the eye. There are so many things happening that you and I are not privy to in this issue. Everything seems to be in shambles, and maybe there's some damage control happening now. But just ask yourself, the damage control, was it preventable in the first place? And the answer is yes. Why must it take a journalist to evoke responses from the FA regarding accountability that it owes Ghana and its people? Must it take someone? Even in the first place, when the advancement came from the journalist, he was not heeded to.
Yeah.
They turned a deaf ear and a blind eye to his request until he had to evoke RTI, Right to Information Bill. That was even in the wake of having petitioned or written to FIFA.
Yeah.
Immediately, FIFA responded to him. There's a PR department in FIFA that does not joke with its work. If you know how FIFA is structured and how it functions, look, the structures at FIFA, what makes it distinct from any other continental body like the CAF, like the CONMEBOL, like the UEFA,
Yeah.
and the AFC in Asia and all that, CONCACAF. What makes FIFA distinct is its ability to act on purpose with respect to time. It must be timeous. Your response to whatever queries are brought before you must respond to them in a timeous manner. That is what FIFA does. That is why FIFA enjoys such a monopoly. You cannot have, for the life of me, a body come up to rub shoulders with FIFA regarding governing world football. It doesn't look like happening anytime soon. You understand? So I think that the records must be set straight. That we have, for the want of a better word, squandered World Cup money cumulatively, and I don't mean just this money that has come right from 2006. And he was mentioning about forward money. You see, one of the ways FIFA expends money to member countries is about producing that forward program, FIFA forward program. So FIFA forward 1, forward 2, and so on and so forth. Now, depending on what you do with the forward 1 money, it qualifies you for a forward 2 money. Your failure to use it judiciously and actually account for it very, very well robs you of the opportunity to be given forward 2 money. Other countries have taken so much interest in this, and how they go about their FIFA forward program is very, very instructive. And I trace this back to the Sepp Blatter days. Sepp Blatter, as FIFA president, paid particular attention to Africa and its football. And up till now, I think that he enjoys a certain niche that he has carved for himself as FIFA president, as the one who has given Africa so much money to invest in grassroots football. Grassroots football. And I happen to have read a certain long paper written by one of the bookmakers of football. Okay, very, very gifted guy who writes so much about football. Just about how Sepp Blatter's FIFA contributed to the development and growth of football in Africa here. And you know that until those corrupt issues came up, that brought him for some ridicule, if you like.
Yeah.
Blatter had a certain kingly attitude in Africa because he was adored just because of what he did for Africa football. He gave so much support to African countries for them to inject money into grassroots football, today called juvenile football. You understand? But it has not changed anything at FIFA, even with the inception of the presidency of what's his name, Gianni Infantino, the Swiss international. I think that FIFA has not shifted from what it used to do. For which matter, consistently you have FIFA give money to member countries to grow the game in their domains. He was mentioning about other Ghanaian clubs not being able to cut support from the corporate world because of what has happened. It doesn't stop there. Ghana has a football federation or an association that is led by an FA chairman, Ket Ogreku.
Yeah.
I want to tell you, without any doubt, that Ket looks beyond GFA.
Yeah.
He may have CAF in his sights, but if certain happenings in your domain paint you in bad light, it doesn't afford you the opportunity to flex your muscles tomorrow in running for CAF. It brings so many questions than answers. Remember the issue with Nyantechi? I mean, until the coming of the number 12 expose as done by Anas Armio Anas, Nyantechi was moving in a certain pathway that was leading him to a certain, I use the word certain because he had gotten so much support even from other continental bodies in Africa and even the world, because he was one of these committee members even in FIFA. And you saw him attend some FIFA programs in the world. So until the coming of the number 12 expose, you had him going to be most likely a CAF president one day. But that was, the straw that broke the camel's back. I beg to say that this may just be where our current president is headed. Now, if these supposed rots are happening, the rots are even better than one thing, and that is you being able to voice your displeasure at these happenings, then you are deemed an enemy. You are deemed a naysayer. That look, why ask certain pertinent questions? And these are telling questions that the people of Ghana need to know. You must not wait for someone to evoke a response from you, when in actual fact you must just wake up one day and then write to media houses, come cover a presser. We are going to account to the Ghanaian people how World Cup money has been expended.
And that's their responsibility as a PR
and this
department.
And this is an FA. We have a communications directorate led by a communications director. And look, Ken, before
he was bashed previous
I am
FAs.
coming there because before his ascension to that pedestal, and make no mistake, being the communications director of the Ghana Football Association is no mean an achievement. Yes, it's one big platform given. But before he assumed that place, where was he? He was in the journalism arena,
Yeah.
asking so many questions, and I cited a video of Henry Asante Chum, now
think it's
communications
very popular.
director.
Yeah.
Yes,
It's very popular.
ask so many questions about what had become of the FIFA World Cup money in 2006,
Yeah.
and what amount of infrastructure has sprung up as a result of that money in Ghana football. Today, those same questions are thrown at you. You seem to have no answers to. So, is it about speaking when you are not in the hot soup, and then getting into the hot soup and doing what you like?
Power corrupts absolutely.
Look, you see, Ken, one thing, and I got incensed when he was talking about the borehole project.
Yeah.
I got incensed. Look, I don't think that there is so much opacity in these things. These things are, they are clouded in some secrecy.
Sort of shred me.
Yes, they are shrouded in some
Yes.
secrecy. Because we began to hear about borehole projects not today. Not today.
Yeah.
By now, where they were earmarked to have been built, we should have seen boreholes across the country.
How many days does it take to
Across the
dig it?
country.
Borehole.
Look,
Four.
look, I have a friend in the UK, okay? I have a friend in the UK who some year ago, 2 years ago, through me, began to do borehole projects somewhere in northern Ghana. Look, it's about getting in touch with people who are in that business. There are people going around digging boreholes and all that. You get them on board. They do their what do they call it, expenditure, right? They do their budget and give to you. This is what we think can build one borehole. So depending on the depth of your packet, you go for the number of boreholes you want to do. And then they do it for you at a cost, and they do it, and then there are invoices, right,
Yeah.
to back whatever they have spent. I find it difficult to understand why at that national level we have issues like this. It paints us in some bad light outside, continentally, even worldwide. Ghana football, not only are we in shambles on the field of play, even off the field we are in shambles. In football administration, there's nothing good to write home about. So, what else do we want to do well or right in this country? Football on the field of play is nothing good. Football off the pitch is nothing good. Accountability issues brings about so many accusations, counter accusations, inability to clarify certain accusations. Do we just need some audit service here? Do we need auditors to take interest in this issue?
External auditors.
Yes, to take interest in these issues. Ken, look, matters that have happened even 200 years ago are capable of being audited.
Yes.
The word is, they have a word they call it, they call it, they give it some adjective to qualify it. You understand? So it is capable of being looked into, investigated. If there are any wrongs, let there be punishment, let there be punitive measures meted out to wrong parties. You understand?
Just to sanitize the whole institution.
And here we are going into another continental championship. Most likely you will see
The budget come already.
most likely you see corporate bodies come on board, support the Black Stars. And look, Ken, Martin, GMPC, are they for the Christmas?
They keep giving out easy or free money.
For the Christmas times 10.
Every now and then you have to come on board. Do loud
That's
support.
where Santa Claus takes his money from.
Look, I think that we must be serious in this country about how we run football, because it is just everything but impressive. Look at our neighbors, what is happening. Football is not played in isolation, it is played in an ecosystem, to borrow the word from the FA Cup. He has been using it. But I've said it that ecosystem, as we have come to study in biology and all that, there are some prerequisites that qualifies an ecosystem. That is biodiversity. How biodiverse is the ecosystem you are mentioning? Is there acceptance of dissent in that ecosystem? Is there proper accountability across the divide in that ecosystem? Is there a proper distribution of booties, let me call it so, that come? Do we have all these things in place? I think that we are at a wrong place as a Ghana football entity. And the earlier we undid this stereotype, the better it would be for us, because we are competing with some other FAs. Look at the Moroccan FA. We had one of the Ghanaian officials go there and marvel at the headquarters of the Moroccan Football Federation.
He said he has never seen anything like that.
Yes, that's what he said.
Deputy Minister of Sports.
Deputy Minister of Sports.
He went and disgraced us there.
But you call it disgrace, eh?
When I say, I'm not saying it's not the truth, but when I say he disgraced us,
he described us as a
could have
joke.
done. The thing is that what they are doing it's not something we cannot do. You understand? So if he has disgraced us because they are those at the helm of it, they should know. They are the sports ministers and those who make decisions when it comes to the sports in this country. But they have sat down and then they've gone somewhere and they are telling us that they've not seen anything like that before. When you could do something similar.
Who won the last AFCON?
Senegal.
Yeah. Yes. Now look at this. Senegal as well. They rank amongst the favorites. Yet again. But I am telling you that there's a certain wave blowing around North Africa, top there in the African continent. Wait, in a few years you're going to see some dominance come from North Africa. Dominance is coming. Wait for it, and when it comes, it is going to last for quite some time. You know why? Because I think that they are putting some structures in place, fundamentals. The politicians think the fundamentals are weak. What exposes you? Exchange rate, in this case,
now it's a very famous one.
Famous, right? Or infamous. In this case, if your football fundamentals are weak, results or lack of results therein will expose you.
Yeah, sure.
I think that the North Africans are doing everything right at this point in time. Look at what Morocco did in the World Cup.
World Cup,
In the World Cup, and look at how they swept awards at the CAF Awards. Well, you can make a good case for Nigeria. Nigeria, Women's Football of the Year, Men's Football of the Year. And it has been historic with the Nigerians. They have utterly dominated the African football space in terms of awards. And I chronicled the history last week here about how their footballers have won it every now and then. But I think that Ghana football has got to be worried because there is reason to be worried. To be worried. But what can we do to negate the trend? What can we do to negate the trend? It has to do with some acceptance of the fact that we are in trouble. Acceptance of the fact that we are in trouble. And then try to extricate ourselves from that trouble. And that is being leaders by deed and not leaders by words. I think that the CAT FA, as we have today, can do much better than what it is doing today. There have been instances when there are many more questions than answers. And it doesn't have to be like that. And for me, what beats my imagination is the supposed issue. I mean, you played an audio here the last time that had one of the big men in the boardroom at the FA say that journalists have no rights to certain things. Just wait, when the information is there, we'll give it out to you. You remember that you played one audio here, and that was the lowest of the low. That was the lowest of the low.
It was in response to the 900% increase in the filing fee.
In the filing fee
position,
to run for FA presidency. Martin, you paid 5,000 Ghana cedis, right? 5,000 Ghana cedis. The following election,
50,000.
50,000 Ghana cedis. So now look at this. We have monetized our football elections, football politics. If I pay 50,000 Ghana cedis to run as FA Capo, I win the FA Capo. Most likely, I would have solicited funds from elsewhere, who are as well football actors. Now, tell me that there will not be any conflict of interest.
Oh, there won't.
Yeah.
So, the long-term solution to our problems as a football community in Ghana here is gifting this football administration to another entity.
So do you agree? You now agree that when I said we've not gone anywhere from the 1980s.
Oh, you see,
we're actually even going backwards.
The thing is that the dynamics are different here.
Because no, in fact,
the dynamics are different.
In fact, the reason why I say that is before we had very good administrators, like astute ones. But the likes of the what's his name? This guy, the guy with the 5 year, was it 10 year development? Ben Kofi and the likes.
4-year development plan. Look, Ken, I think that the growth and development of our football for me is inversely proportional to time. When it should have been directly proportional. Growing time should mean that we should develop more. But growing time sees us receding in development. It doesn't have to be the case.
Progressing.
Look, how many stadiums do we have?
can boast of 4.
Four.
Four.
Right? No, what I mean is national stadia. Okay, national stadia.
In
Just
good
say-
condition.
just say we
or
have
just,
good condition.
Or just
No, wait.
national
Leisure stadium,
stadium.
we can boast of 4.
Look, you guys,
Aye.
relax, relax,
when they
relax.
say stadium,
Relax,
When they say stadium, there is, it's not a building.
It's
No.
not-
We understand. He's
Don't
making a
make
point.
a
So if
Masa,
agreeing without
let's agree.
assuming
Assuming
agreeing
that
that
it's
it's
One that
4.
Ghana Premier League match can even play there. Even Division 1 can we can call it a stadium.
Martin,
Let's go by the 4.
at least, look, for the
On
purpose of
paper.
this discussion, we have 4, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Which in any way are out of sorts.
Mhm.
Not even one of them. Maybe Babayara. Maybe Babayara. To some extent, Cape Coast, right?
Yeah.
But none of it.
But
None of the
do you
four.
know that up until now it is only Cape Coast that is fit to host a FIFA or CAF tournament?
Martin, mention CAF, I will agree
CAF,
with you.
sorry, CAF.
CAF.
Not FIFA. CAF.
None of the 4
Yeah.
is fit enough for a FIFA program. No, none of it.
For a nation that has played in 4 World Cups.
Forward
Even
Cups,
under 12,
Forward Cups.
even under 12 African
Forward
Cup of
Cups.
Nations, we cannot host it.
And you have the contingent that traveled to Qatar for the World Cup,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
You have management members of the Black Stars
Mhm.
earning how much?
100,000.
What is the amount allotted to the winner of the Ghana Premier League?
25,000.
$25,000.
Yeah.
Martin, just look at this. Oh. You win the Premier League, you are given $25,000 as of last season. So
Yeah.
let's say Mediama had $25,000. If you went to the Black Stars World Cup as a management member, you went home with an amount of $100,000. In terms of percentage,
It doesn't make sense.
$25,000 out of $100,000 is what percent?
That's
25%.
yes, 25%. Yeah.
25%. So you win the Ghana Premier League, you are given $25,000. You go to the World Cup as a Black Stars management member, you are given $100,000 for spending 2 weeks at the World Cup, right?
And someone playing a
Stage.
league for how many months?
For nearly 9 months.
I mean, does this apply to your reasoning?
Let me even add up to that. You know, Apindakwa, they went recently.
Abubakar ladies. Yeah.
Good.
They were
You know,
given by,
don't go
by
there.
the
Yes, you know
Sundowns
the
ladies.
money they got. They will have to win the AFCON about, I think, is it 80 times or 50 times
Let's not
before
go
they can
there.
get that money.
That Ampemdako
Yes,
had.
what the participation just for where they've reached.
I'll have a second bite.
Okay, Salim, you wrap up for us. Look, when you talk about the FA, it's almost as though it's deja vu. Every now and then, it's the same issue. Nothing seems to surprise us again about the FA, but this is where we are. Just a few weeks ago, the FA was in the news. This time, it had to do with headline sponsorship with Bet Power. Now, before that could even disappear, this has resurfaced. And Ruzo mentioned there is a new tournament on the horizon that kicks off in a couple of days' time. Put all of these together. What does it say about the FA and Ghana football?
You know, some of us who followed football for quite a long time have been a very good fan of Accra House of Folk. And when you trace back at the prime period of Accra House of Folk,
Gamanche Derby is coming on.
I mean, that has even gone under the radar.
Played in Kumasi.
I mean,
Accra Derby in Kumasi.
I
No stadium in Accra.
you
God.
cannot blame Anna
My
Walker
God.
when he says he played away and home and
At home.
everything boxed together.
Boxed together.
God. This is Ghana.
He played home in away.
It is
Accra
sad.
Derby.
Oh.
Accra Derby.
Accra they will play in Kumasi.
It is sad. Oh.
Has had to play Kotoko as home.
Yes, in Kumasi.
In Kumasi.
No, but you see, I have a personal problem with these clubs.
Yes. No, especially
So what
with
exactly
the
is their
Hudson and
problem?
Kotoko.
What is it that if government decides today that look, the Accra Sports Stadium would not host any club game, is that to say these clubs will have to be jumping from one venue to the other
You
to
might as
fulfill
well
their
have, you
games?
might as well have problem with both Inter and Milan.
Well,
Well, both are putting up stadium.
Yeah, exactly. You know, the thing about
they have made a step that is convincing
Yes.
that in the short period,
and you see, and the
the
thing
other
is,
have
thing-
somewhere they will move
Martin,
into.
And the other thing is that through their participation in continental championships, they fetch revenue for the
Yeah,
government.
for the government.
Yeah.
But how much does central government in Ghana here get from Ghanaian?
You see, my problem, you see, the way our clubs are structured here is different from over there. You know, over here, for instance, let's take Otunfuo,
Yeah.
and then let's take Togo.
After
Yes, these are two individuals without any doubt who are actually those who spend in these clubs, these two big clubs.
sure.
or spend on those two big clubs, Kotoko and then Accra Hearts of Oak. Now, can we boldly say that the monies they have spent on these clubs, the clubs can account for it?
It's a rhetorical question.
Exactly. We cannot.
It is a question that they themselves should come out and
exactly.
answer.
So you see,
But
until
they answer these questions, we can't make a headway.
Yes, that is the point.
If they don't come to answer these questions and put more explanations
That is the
and
point.
reasons behind why they've been quiet for a while,
You get it.
there isn't any forward match.
We can move forward.
But you look at Ghana football, GFA, sometimes I just feel like when the issue come up, we should just leave it and talk about something different. Oh, I'm being fair, because if we are using the World Cup seasons that Black Stars have participated, or Ghana has participated, 2006 up until now, that I think out of 5 World Cups, but we participated in 4, right?
Yeah, we missed out in Russia 2018.
2018. So out of 5, we participated in 4, and Rosso made mention in excess of our 34 million
Yes.
dollars.
In 2010 World Cup alone, because we made it to
Cumulative.
the quarterfinal, we had $14 million.
14 million.
Yes.
So if
Quarterfinalists.
if
2010.
if in these 4 World Cups we have appeared, if we are saving 30% of the monies that we have had in each tournament, 30% times 4, 30% of every amount, every World Cup money, we accumulate the 4. There are big things that this money could have been used for. At least if we can't even do anything, the GFA can just make something like refurbish our stadia,
All right.
the 4 main stadia. That would be like FIFA and CAF standard. The last time we were to play a certain match that they said the Baba Yara Sports Stadium is not fit for CAF match, Nigeria game. Like, I was, are we in Ghana?
Yeah.
So apart from Kumasi or Baba Yara Sports Stadium, there's no any other football stadium that can host a national team match, and we call ourselves a football nation. You know, Rosso said we are getting back to what do you call it, the Nyan 30 days, and I am foreseeing something like the Nyan 30 issue will be better than what do you call Kate. If he gets into, if he's is going to be number 24, maybe 12 times 2, that will be 24. And ask him with number 12.
Number 12, yeah.
If Kate does not take that, he should be number 24. And if it becomes number 24, that will be serious. We'll have to go back or revert to the normalization committee again, which will also take us time. So I think it will take only what do you call it, football people who are in, not to make money,
Yeah.
to run the administration of Ghana football. But until then, if those people are not found and we don't try to separate our football from politics, mainstream politics, all this thing will continue to be. Uncle T made mention of the fact that there are certain individuals at the back door that I and you cannot see, we cannot identify them, we cannot
Famous
hear their
invisible
voice,
hands.
who are playing role in all these things, but we can't identify them. But if we are going to do some kind of strict, what do you call, auditing of expenditure, who went and bought, who was contracted to buy something, who was asked to do 1 or 2 things, if names are going to be mentioned, then I see the collapse of GFA. And if GFA should collapse at this material moment, then Ghana football is doomed. But with our national team to make a forward match, we need to invest so much in our juvenile football, and that has to do with academies and partnering those academies with foreign-based clubs or academies. That's the only way, like Rosso rightly mentioned. Apart from that, we ourselves, with all that we've had, juvenile football those days in the late 90s, early 2000s, that some of us were fortunate to have played a little. I'm still seeing those same things. Nothing is changing.
Yeah.
And if you are in a parade, they say forward march and you are still marking time, your colleagues are going, you are standing. That's how come Morocco and the North Africans are making a headway. You look at Ghana, man, you compare that of Morocco and see it's more or less like what will I say,
Substandard.
Africa and Europe. It's just like that.
You see the South African one,
Yeah.
That you see, when you made mention of North Africa, in fact, sorry,
Yeah, don't
when you
worry.
made mention of North Africa, I was of the view that, or I am of the view that South Africa, the southern part of Africa, they are really doing well too. The likes of Madagascar, Comoros.
See
You
the
know-
kind
you know
of
the
football.
challenge- the
See the
challenge
kind of
for
football
those
they play against Black Stars.
Because you see, gradually, what we are seeing in the South African League,
Yes.
the dominance we are seeing in Africa,
Yeah.
it will translate to the national team very soon.
Yeah.
Just give it some time.
Rosso made reference to one thing, and after the program, I think on Saturday and
And they are
Sunday,
producing coaches too.
I took time to monitor those things, like Madagascar, Comoros. They have players abroad.
Yeah.
Home-based players who have traveled abroad, and abroad it's not like they are just playing in individual clubs. They are playing in academies. They've played in one or two academies together for a very long time. So when they are being called to come and play into the national team, if you have three players from the same academy, they already understand each other.
Yeah.
So playing in the national team, you see that kind of coordination between them. Typical example is the Xavi and Iniesta thing. You see them
Spain
in
and Barcelona.
Barcelona. You see them in Spain. La Masia graduated to the
The Barcelona team,
team A and
the national
the
team.
national
proper.
team. Whenever in their absence, those days Spain struggled to win
You could see 6 Barca players in the first 11.
in the first 11,
for Spain.
and it was always perfect. You see that number in there, and you have a perfect start, a perfect end. So until Black Stars or the GFA try to adopt, if you don't know something, you copy from someone. What's the big deal about it? We have this thing, Royal Dutch Football Club, KNVB.
KNVB.
They are touring Africa. I've been fortunate to be part of one of their coaching courses. They are going around Africa, identifying community coaches, training them to be professional coaches. They give them certificates such that if you are able to reach a certain height, they will come. They will find a way of taking you to their home, their country. They will give you first class coaching training, a standard one. We have a colleague, a brother,
Lowell.
Lowell. Lowell is now a trainer and the KNVB. He started just as a community coach, migrated or graduated in what stage after stage, course after course. So if the GFA is not deliberately doing these things, there's no way we can grow. See our stadium annex, the main stadium annex.
It's an eyesore.
It's an eyesore.
It's an eyesore.
The only training pitch that was created as part of the Aliu Mama Sports Stadium that you can boast of, that you can be proud or you feel like it's standard to train is a Nobisco School Field. That's the only one out of the three.
Right.
So I think the GFA should find a way of making football lovers, football enthusiasts, and all those in the ecosystem to have trust and faith in them. In terms of transparency, in terms of communication, they need to explain to us. We are begging them. It's 1 year now after the Qatari 2022 World Cup.
Yeah.
Messi's fans in Argentina, they celebrated the World Cup just this month, 1 year anniversary.
Yeah.
They did it in a small pub. So they should also let us feel like they are being accountable to us. They are accountable or answerable to us. We are not answerable to them. So they should do the needful.
Okay, all right. So I will come back and take the second round of submission from all three guys. But you're still listening to the build up on Radio Tamale 91.7 FM. Show is brought to you by HD Plus, Mega 6 Lotto, and Star Times. I'm sure we can do your phone calls now along the way. We have about 15 or so minutes before we take leave of you, so you can call us now. 020-0060-766, 020-0060-766. We'd like to hear from you on the other side of the radio. What do you make of the GFA's explanation for the $800,000 that had to be taken out of the money for Ghana for taking part in the 2022 FIFA World Cup, and what you make of the 55-man provisional squad as well? 020-0060-766. So while we wait for your phone calls to come through, let me come back to Uncle T. A lot has been said, but the GFA as an institution would remain. faces or new individuals will come and go, but the FA would remain. What needs to change ultimately at the Ghana Football Association to ensure that whoever comes in there to serve the football people will do so, being steadfast?
Ken, previously I have said that it is high time that central government takes keen interest in what happens at the GFA. It looks as if what central government is concerned with right now is about just preparing the national teams to go and then participate in tournaments. That is what they are so much concerned about. And when they go and they come back, whatever prize money is available, then they take their share. And then, but aside that, they don't do anything else. They don't. I don't know whether they have stakeholder meetings with the FA to find out where they can actually invest in to help our football develop and all of that. I always use Morocco as an example. All of us, most of the time, you use Morocco because they are the standard.
Because we are in Africa.
Exactly, and they are the standard. So you definitely have to use them. Look, the Moroccan government, if they should tell you how much they have invested in sports infrastructure, you would marvel. Because look, after every 4 blocks, they have constructed an astroturf. Yes, after every 4 blocks, there is an astroturf for both boys and girls in the community. So it means that, you see, this thing, coast football, now juvenile football, we're doing.
Okay, so I think we have a caller on the line. Hello. Yes, good evening. Your name and where you're reaching us from, and kindly speak up for us. Okay, Sadiq, talk to us. Let's hear you.
Thank you for giving me this opportunity. It's a pleasure for having you this night. Your program is educating us about what in the football fraternity. I'm always monitoring your show. Great Mr. Emmanuel for me.
I'll do that.
Thank you very much. And today I'll stand here and congratulate Manchester City for winning the Club World Cup.
Yeah, we are here. We are here. We are no more the noisy neighbors.
Thank you very much.
Okay, all right. Grateful for reaching out to us. 020-0060-766, 020-0060-766. You can also get to call us now and share your thoughts with us on all things we've discussed so far on the show. We have a little over 14 minutes before we take leave of you, so you get to call us and talk to myself and the rest of the guys in studio. 020-0060-766.
Good evening.
Yes, hello, good evening.
Yes, I'm Ahmed Sadat.
Okay.
Modu, I'm calling from Tunayele.
Right, let's hear you.
Yes, I think comparing Morocco to Ghana is like comparing, I don't know what to say, but it's like comparing a guinea fowl to a cow. Because the GFA has made itself a corrupt entity. You understand? They have their pockets, their stomach at heart instead of football growth in Ghana. You see, one thing I have always said is that we are at this stage because one would conclude that Anas is the cause of our downfall in football. Because the obtaining of Kosin Yantichi. You see, human beings, we are all not perfect. Whatever Yantiki has done there that warranted his own warranted investigation that led to his departure, multiple of such is happening there. Multiples. And human being, you cannot come and trap him with money or woman and you think you will not get him. We are all human beings like Yantiki. I am telling you that Anas, if he was in his office and they entrap him like that, they will get him. So the departure or the downfall of Yantiki was the starting point of the downfall of the Ghana Football Association, the underdevelopment of football in Ghana, and all our predicaments. That is why the Black Star, anytime the Black Star now goes to play football, we are having issues because this man knows football in and out. And that time he could stand on his feet and oppose any external influence that was coming the way of any coach. Today, Kurt has not got that. Kurt himself likes to take this bribe and bring players instead of letting players to go into the national team based on merits.
I would just advise that we are a bit cautious with our choice of words. I mean, to say that he has been taking bribe, there's no evidence to that effect.
Okay, that's okay. But I think generally when you compare the performance of Kurt and Yantichi, you know that Kurt administration has failed. The administration has failed woefully. Go to the sports stadium in Tamale and you realize that the washrooms, even the washrooms in Abu Abu Market, is far better than the washroom at the Tamale Sports Stadium. And you think we can compare this to even countries like Togo? No. The washrooms, everything is broken. People will go there, you see feces that have lasted in these WCs for 2 months, and the place is smelling. That is not how we grow the game. We cannot manage our own stadium. The one in charge of managing stadium wants to chop. The one in charge of managing a facility wants to chop. Everybody, oh, may God help us. If Anas has destroyed football, the downfall of Iandiji is really the downfall of football in Ghana. So we are praying that Kurt he was democratically elected. So we are praying that he should end his term successfully. And the next football association president that we are going to get, we are praying that he should have the skills, the techniques, the kind of development-oriented person like Iantiki to manage football in Ghana, and we shall go back to our glorious days. Thank you very much.
All right, grateful for reaching out to us. You can also call us 020-0060-766, 020-0060-766. Let's hear from you as well. What do you make of the FA's explanation of how we expended portions of the money we had from participating at the 2022 FIFA World Cup, as well as a 55-man professional squad, 11 players on the local scene getting in on that professional squad? So while we wait for your phone call, 020-0060-766, let me get back to Uncle T, and you are still making your case on how far we've fallen down the pecking order, why we are not paying attention to the right areas of our football.
Yes, in fact, this scholar made very important point, and that is why I think that, like I stated, central government needs to take keen interest in what happens at the Ghana Football Association. It shouldn't just be about preparing the Black Stars or the national teams to go to tournament, especially the Black Stars, because apart from the Black Stars, all of the other national teams don't really get any kind of like support. You understand? Now, if central government invest in infrastructure and then they invest in the how do I call it? In coaches, okay, it will go a long way to affect how our football changes. Because look, like I was giving an example with Morocco, this coast football or juvenile football we are talking about, they have actually improved it. So unlike they used to have packs that weren't up to standard, now they have tried and converted, or like I said, after every 4 block there's an astroturf or a green grass pitch. You understand? So they have made sure that every corner in the community has a field where kids can go and then play, right? And play on standard fields that will not give them injuries. You get what I mean? And so this is the way we should also go. We should start investing. Central government should take keen interest. What the monies has come. What is the FA using the money for? How, the way they've used the money, how can it affect our football positively? You understand? What development plan can they give us as a nation? Central government says, okay, now we are making sure that anytime you go for a tournament, there's going to be a percentage taken out from the money
Right.
and then used to invest in, say, let's say, a football policy or a project for the nation. You understand? That is the way we should go. It shouldn't just be about spending money. Black Stars are going, so they talk to corporate entities to donate and all of that. They'll donate to those monies, and then we don't even know what the monies have been used for. I think that we should move away from that. And if we do move away from that, and central government takes keen interest, I believe that we can pick it from there.
Okay. All right. So let me do a few messages from Facebook. We are streaming live on Facebook as well at Radio Tamale 91.7 FM. Ahmed Atinga says he's monitoring us live from Katarga. Great discussion there. I think the FA should begin to set the record straight now. It would help them to take the criticisms and insults. Otherwise, they would help kill the little love left for the Black Stars. So you can call us as well via the telephone line 020 0060 766 020 0060 766. Would like to hear from you as well. We have a few more minutes before we take leave of you, so you get to call us 020 0060 766. This one says good evening. This is Yahuza watching from Accra. We are grateful. Good evening, watching you live from Daboya Chito Centers. That one, watching you live from Zubiali. That's Jerry. The film centers. That one. We are grateful for all your comments on Facebook and being with us from the start up until this point. So let me come back to Rizzo and take his concluding thoughts on this one, because we have less than 5 minutes to wrap up the show. Where next for Ghana football? Have we fallen so deep that we cannot rise again? Is there light at the end of the tunnel? Yeah.
I don't think we should actually measure everything by the AFCON that is coming. I don't think we should measure everything by the AFCON that is coming. The AFCON will come and go. Whether or not we do well, we must take it in our strides. If we don't do well, we can actually see where to go and then right some wrongs and then bounce back later on. We shouldn't expect magic in Ivory Coast. I don't think so. I think we must take one game at a time. The most important game in the life of the Black Stars is that first game in the AFCON, in the group stage. Then the next game, then the next game. We must not go with the mentality of winning the AFCON, because in all seriousness, we cannot win the AFCON. There are better placed teams to win the AFCON than Ghana.
Right.
But try to go past the group stage. At least that will be one step better than the last AFCON in Cameroon.
Okay, Salim, final words.
Where did we exit?
Group stage.
Group stage.
We're last in the group.
Okay. I'm just hoping that even though that happened, and in the last World Cup too, we exited at a point, the same group stage.
Yeah.
But we're last in our group again.
Yeah.
In Qatar.
We've been consistent.
I thought we were third.
We'll be
We've
consistent.
been consistent. Yeah.
Okay. I thought we were third.
Consistently poor. Poorly consistent.
It's funny, but like we are all with all that we all said, I think GFA is the reason for which people would like or dislike Ghana football. There will be the reason why people would love Black Stars or hate Black Stars. Sorry to say, but their actions and inactions, the way and manner they react to issues when they are being put before them. For instance, Muftar Abdullah Nabila, his pursuit to get those informations from the GFA and how the whole thing went. I think is a disgrace to the GFA. Because in the first place, you have a communication department that is supposed to be apt. You also made mention of the FIFA communication department, the PR department, how they work. Everything is about time. So until and unless the communication department or the PR department are very much aware of time as to when a letter or a query comes to them, how long it takes to reply, we'll sit here, football fanatics and all those in the football ecosystem will have issues with the GFA, and that will bar out of the whole thing. We are hoping and praying that more corporate bodies will come in to support the FA, and government should take a very keen interest, like Martin said. Else, GFA left onto them will not see a way forward. But we will still wish the Black Stars all the best, and we are hoping that the 55-man squad that they have brought up, I think it's a provisional. We hope that the 27 that they will bring it up, they will at least wipe some kind of tear and sweat out of we Ghanaians or the football fanatics.
Okay.
And this is not in relation to the program, but I think that maybe on behalf of these guys, I should pat the management of Radio Tamale on their back. I think that the station has proven to be a pace setter in the media landscape in Tamale here. Let the station keep it up. The management, all workers in Radio Tamale must keep it up, because there are rave reviews out there. People are speaking highly of the station in terms of coverage, in terms of listenership. I think that there are quality gadgets here, microphones and all that. It is kudos to the management, and they must not renege in their efforts. They must not relent in their efforts in making it even better, because there's no such thing as perfection. You get better by the day. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. So that's how we sign off for the year 2023.
Just a quick one.
Yeah.
I want to congratulate Man City and our fans out there.
We're rooting for Fluminense.
We've made it 5. We've made it 5.
Okay.
What do you call it? The Ghanaians will understand.
Okay. I mean, we began the year with violence. We are certainly not ending it with violence, but that's how we wrap up the year 2023 on the build-up. It's been an amazing journey. It's been a roller coaster ride from January up until this point. We'll be back on your radio in the new year. You heard from the guys Salim Rosaneri Celesao and Uncle T were my guests for tonight. My name is Addy Kennedy Adam. This has been the build-up on Radio Tamale 91.7 FM. Big thank you to us Mega 6 Lotto, and of course Start Time. So do take care of yourself, have a good weekend, and we'll see you in the next year. Bye bye for now.